and welcome back to you. As we discussed earlier, specifically in the NLP Foundations article style lecture, the written text or spoken language is the most unstructured form of all the available data. Before we try to extract meaningful insights from text data, we need to sanitize the data by applying some text pre-processing techniques such as tokenization, lemmatization, and stop word removal. In NLP, our first goal is to prepare the text data into a format that can be handled by the machine learning algorithms. For this purpose, we're going to use the NLP packages that we mentioned earlier, but we're going to start with the NLTK package, and this is mainly due to its vast scope of applications. Now, we assume you already know Python basics and syntax and how to import a package properly in the Python 3 environment. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to see which version of Python we're using. To do that, we'll type in the exclamation mark, space, Python, another little space, dash, uppercase V. And now when you run the code, you should be able to see which version of Python you're using. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to install NLTK. We will do exclamation mark, pip, install, NLTK, and now we'll run that. Now in Jupyter Notebook, we can run any terminal or bash script just by using the exclamation mark before the commands. So this installation that we've done is the same as if we typed in pip install NLTK in the terminal or command screen. Now, installing NLTK package is a little bit different than installing other Python packages. NLTK package has many other submodules and data that should be installed after we import NLTK. Now, once we've confirmed that NLTK is installed, we have to download and install NLTK data. NLTK data consists of the corpora, and corpora is simply a body of texts and all the words in a language along with various grammar syntaxes, toy grammars, trained models, and so forth. So they help the users to easily process languages by applying the various functions. Now please note that installing NLTK data is a long process and involves downloading over a gigabyte of data. We're first going to import NLTK and then run the NLTK shell to see the download options that we have. So let's first type import NLTK and then next line NLTK dot download underscore shell and then opening and closing parentheses. And when we run this, you'll notice that there are many data sets and submodules that could be installed one by one, or we can just simply run the following command and install everything. So to do that, to install everything, we would type in nltk.download and then pass the argument all. Just make sure it has opening, closing double quotation marks around all. But for the beginning, we're going to actually suggest that you just install something called punkt, and you would do that simply by typing in nltk.download and then pass the argument punkt with, of course, opening and closing double quotation marks around punkt. Now, the other thing is, if you're unsure of which data or model you need, you can start out with the basic list of data plus the models with nltk.download and then pass through popular as the argument. So with that out of the way, we can actually start playing with the text data. If you need a sample text data that you want to play with, you can use sample text corpus embedded in NLTK. So NLTK includes a small selection of texts from the Project Gutenberg electronic text archive, which contains around 25,000 free electronic books hosted at gutenberg.org. There are many other text corpuses inside NLTK, such as routers, Brown, etc. So the following command is going to allow you to download a small selection of texts from the Project Gutenberg onto your system. So we're going to type in nltk.download, and then we are going to pass Gutenberg as the argument. Now let's see the downloaded texts from Project Gutenberg. We'll type in nltk.corpus.gutenberg.file IDs, and then opening and closing parentheses. Now we're going to select one of the text corpora and load it into our project by using the following command. So we'll type in emma equals nltk.corpus.gutenberg.raw, and then we're going to pass the argument austin-emma.text, and you should have apostrophes around that. So now what we've done is we've loaded a whole text file into our project. Now, since the size of this text is quite large, we can split that by paragraph and select a few of them, or just select as many words as we want. So now let's go ahead and we'll print the first 200 letters. To do that, we'll type in print, opening parentheses, Emma, opening square brackets, colon, 200, closing square brackets, and closing parentheses. Once we run that, there we are. We have our first 200 letters. Now let's go ahead and print the words that are in positions 10 to 20, or in places 10 to 20. To do that, we'll type in emma.split, and then opening parentheses, closing parentheses, opening square brackets, 10, colon, 20, and closing square brackets. And once we run that, we see those words that are in from position 10 to 20. So next video, we're going to start with the pre-processing.